What's up, weirdos? Shade Tree Surgeon here, and today I got something just a little bit different for you. Doodle on a Motorcycle recently issued a challenge to old Shade Tree Surgeon, and if you aren't familiar with her channel, I will have a link to it down in the description. Doodle challenged me to take one of my favorite movies, books, or TV shows and imagine what all the characters would ride if they rode motorcycles. Hey man, assigning personalities to inanimate objects and anthropomorphizing motorcycles is kind of what I do, so challenge accepted. Doodle on a Motorcycle chose Game of Thrones characters to assign motorcycles to, but I'm gonna kick a little old school with mine, and I'm gonna do the Breakfast Club. That's right, old Shade Tree is actually a massive John Hughes fan, and while Uncle Buck will always be #1 in my heart, The Breakfast Club is widely considered to be John Hughes' best work, and arguably one of the greatest films ever made. I'm being dead serious about that too. If all you remember about The Breakfast Club is John Bender telling Principal Vernon to
eat my shorts,
and of course the massively lampooned freeze frame ending, then do yourself a favor, go back and watch that movie with the eyes of an adult. Its portrayal of high school teenagers as so much more than the one-dimensional stereotypes that they appear to be on the surface, and the struggle to find your own self and be your own person in the face of societal and family pressure, that always hits home for me. It's a movie that challenges our predilection for pigeonholing those that we meet based on nothing but surface impression. It shows us how easily we put up our own fronts, how we shrug on this armor made of stereotypes and give people this easily cataloged Cliff Notes versions of ourself, lest we be judged and found wanting for who we truly are. It shows us that especially when we're young, we're all holding up a mask, and by hiding behind it, we're blind to the fact that everybody else is too. And when we finally gather enough courage to pull off that mask and show somebody else what really makes us tick, and then have them do it in return, and that relief of showing your true self and being accepted for who you are, that's what The Breakfast Club does well, and that's why it's a great movie. That and Molly Shannon, because holy moly, if you're a Gen Xer and don't admit to having it bad for old Molly, you're either gay or a liar. And probably just a liar, because I know quite a few gay boys who also carried a torch for Molly back in the day. I digress. Didn't we come here to talk about motorcycles? Let's do that. We'll start with Brian Johnson, the nerd, the brain, the kid who has a fake ID, not so he can buy booze, but so he can vote. On the surface, we see a goody two-shoes math elite who's more concerned about his GPA than what a girl's hiding between her legs. Dig a little deeper and you do find a rebellious streak in him. Someone who actually longs to be cool and be accepted even if they have no idea how to accomplish that, and their responsibilities, both real and imagined, keep them from exploring that side of their self very often. If Brian Johnson rode a motorcycle, I'd have to imagine that it'd be an adventure bike. Not because he's planning on going on any adventures, mind you, just because it makes the most sense. Luggage so you can carry all your stuff, comfortable seating, all the technological bells and whistles, you know, it's just the most logical choice. When you stack up all the numbers, an adventure bike makes the most sense. And no, it won't be any flashy BMW GS or fire-breathing KTM for Brian. He'll be on a very practical and very affordable Kawasaki Versys. And even though he'll keep it on the straight and narrow most of the time, every once in a while, when there's a full moon out, you'll find Brian on that Kawasaki riding down the sidewalk and ripping wheelies. Because a bike that can do it all is more than capable of doing all the bad stuff too. Claire Standish, the rich girl, the pretty little princess who isn't used to hearing the word no. The most popular girl at school, everybody wants to be her or be with her. Just like many other girls who are forced onto this fussy little pedestal of perfection, she longs for something more, something a little dirtier, something a little more dangerous, even though that's hard to admit. I think that Claire would ride a Triumph Bonneville. Oozing European class, the Bonneville is a landmark bike, a bike that is prim and proper and well-mannered in stock form, and just as popular pulling up in front of a country club as it is a dirty biker bar. Everybody loves the Bonneville. But just like Claire, underneath that classy exterior lies a bike that's just begging to be stripped down and thrashed. A Bonneville can certainly be a polite little princess its entire life, but you would be doing that motorcycle a major disservice if you didn't let it indulge its wild side every now and then. Allison Reynolds, the basket-cased, a loner, a weirdo. I have a feeling that Allison would fit right in with Shadetree Army. But in the movie, she's a square peg that doesn't fit in anywhere. She chooses to exist outside of everybody's expectations. She dreams of running away and seeing the world and leaving this whole mess of humanity far behind her. She brags about her readiness to bug out at any time, but her try-hard attitude just that much more starkly defines her insecurities. And her conscious choice of self-imposed ostracization makes her that much more arrogant and conceited in my eyes. She wraps herself in mystery and then looks down on anybody who doesn't try to see past it. For Allison, hearing everybody else open up and drop down their masks was the most important because she, out of everybody else, puts people into their stereotypes the hardest. If Allison rode a motorcycle, I think it'd be some sort of scrambler. And no, not a shiny new factory scrambler from Ducati or Triumph. Allison would have something that was home built, cobbled together. I'm imagining her on some sort of bugged out Mad Max looking BMW R100 or R80. The kind of bike that looks like it's ready for the apocalypse, you know, big old ammo cans, saddlebags, knobby tires, you get the picture. But if she followed her dream that she has in the movie, if she chose to leave on her scrambler and embrace the solitude of the open road to truly be alone, I guarantee out there wandering on a motorcycle, she would meet kindred spirits much sooner and much more frequently than she imagined. Andrew Clark, the jock. For my money, there isn't a more stereotypical heel than a big, dumb, mouth-breathing jock. After all, they're pretty easy to hate. They're good-looking alpha males who are obsessed with being the best and pick on and bully anybody they perceive as being weaker than them. While Andrew initially fits this mold perfectly, it's later revealed in the movie that he doesn't even care about sports or winning or any of that, and he's only doing it because that's what his father wants him to do. Hell, Andrew's dad is even the one who's encouraging him to bully other people. What we see underneath is someone who could be very different from the person that his father wants him to be, but he's trapped inside this box that his father's made for him. I think Andrew Clark would ride a Harley-Davidson V-Rod. The V-Rod was an absolutely amazing machine that, much to its detriment, was forced to be something it's not. The worst thing that Harley-Davidson ever did to the V-Rod was try to make it fit that stereotypical Harley-Davidson image. Just like Andrew, it was forced to exist inside this box by Harley-Davidson, and in order to truly shine, it needed to be released from those restraints. And finally, John Bender, the delinquent. He's rude, he's aggressive, and he's deliberately antisocial. He bullies all the others, but he is especially venomous towards Andrew and Claire because he sees them as privileged. His bad attitude is shown to have come from a bad home life and abusive father, and when this is revealed about Bender, that's when his facade starts to crumble. Contrary to his carefully crafted and cultivated outward experience, Bender actually wants to be accepted, and when no one's looking, he can actually be quite kind. If John Bender rode a motorcycle, I think it'd be a chopper. I can see him on some wild, hardtail, raked out machine, but not a Harley. I think his anti-authority, anti-establishment attitude would carry over into engine choices well, and he'd make his chopper out of something like a KZ-1000 or a CB-750. A mechanical middle finger to everybody involved, both shunning the traditional Harley-Davidson chopper crowd and pissing off all the purists who love those bikes for their performance capabilities. They say you should build a chopper for yourself, but you cannot deny that you also build a chopper for literally everyone else. It's a physical manifestation of your artistic and mechanical ability, and like it or not, it is sitting right there and telling everybody how you want them to see you, at least on the surface. Just like Bender's carefully cultivated exterior, a chopper at first blush wants you to think that it doesn't care. But dig a little bit past the surface and you'll usually find someone who cares more than most what people think about them. After all, if you wanted to ride and didn't care at all what anybody thought about you, you could just get a Honda Grom or Suzuki Bergman. If you ride a chopper around everywhere, that's practically begging people to probe a little bit past the surface. And there you have it. Those are Shade Tree Surgeon's choices for the Breakfast Club. This is definitely a very oddly specific video, but I had a good time making it. Honestly, I enjoyed the challenge of making something that was outside my norm, so huge thanks to Doodle for including me in this. Once again, I'll have links to her What If Game of Thrones characters rode motorcycles in the description down below. She also challenged Beach Biker, and he made What If Avengers rode scooters as his video, so I'll have that link down below as well. For me, I'm gonna pass this challenge along to the 333, Captain Granite, and Paranormal Rider. I want to see what you guys would choose for motorcycles for characters out of your favorite book, movie, TV show, comic book, whatever you want to pick. And by all means, if anybody else chooses to make a video like this, tag me in it so I can see what you come up with. If you like this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Heck, share this video with somebody else if you really liked it. And of course, let me and everybody else know what movie, book, or TV show that you would like to see in a video like this in the comment section below. Till next time, y'all, keep it weird.